Allied Brandon came in with the super chat. Says you can say no, but you can make an accusatory. Okay, but can you make an accusatory? This is they're waiting for me to make a screen. Okay, you can say no, but can you make an accusatory face pointing finger for a screenshot? Also, big up, super super crazy. All right, Aiden, have a good night, buddy. Have a good night, buddy. An accusatory face pointing finger. Which way? There you go. Okay.
All right, what's up, boys and trolls? And obviously, shout out to Allied Brandon for that clip. I appreciate it, homie. So, I don't even know where to start with this thing. But to me, this interview was like adults talking and a child trying to sit at the table pretending he understands. I've never listened to Craig or Adam, but they at least sound like they know what they're talking about. But when Phil comes on, he repeats the same thing he repeats every day in his pre-streams. The same excuses, the same talking points, the same I love my life and I love my job. But he can never really give a meaningful explanation behind anything. It's just talking for the sake of talking. And he does a lot of talking here, and he gets exposed for it. Quick shout out to Hate Army Watch and the SideScrollers podcast. I'm using Hate Army's video to react to, but both channels will be down in the description. So please make sure you're subbed to both of these channels. Less a fucking go.
And, you know, having that, now when I play a game, it's a community effort. I'm playing Oblivion right now. I don't know anything about Oblivion. It's the first time playing it, but people help me with the game. And because of that social aspect, the game is a relaxing chill session. There was no way I could have done a chill session in 2013. That wasn't what I was. I was a rage, you know, risque commentary kind of guy. Today, that's all gone mostly. Now, yes, there are moments of rage. I'm playing Wolong. There's definitely moments of rage that come back. But for the most part, you know, watch a stream today versus all the things that people say that I am, and you'd be like, I don't get it. I get this all the time. Someone will come by a stream of mine, and at the end of the stream, they'll say, Phil, just so you know, this is the first stream of yours I ever watched. I've heard all these things about you. And I don't get it. I just watch a 3-hour gameplay stream. None of the stuff that people say about you just happened in the stream. In fact, it was very relaxing. So what just happened? I'm like, they highlight the moments that are the shortcomings. That's what they do today. Or they reference 2013 Darkside Phil as if that's today and saying that's the content I put out today. It's not. It's just definitely not. You know, I have a whole new channel where now I'm doing React style content, which again, I used to be an idiot. I hate React content. Reacting, that's lowbrow, that's minimum effort. And people are like, Phil, people are interested in your thoughts. They just want to hear you react to random stuff from the internet. They want to hear you talk about the new stuff. Why would you think that's bad? And then I, you know what? Let me give it a shot. I started doing React content. People love it. So that's on me for years being an idiot and saying dumb shit on the internet. And now I try it and it works. And it's more relaxing and it's fun. It's interactive with my audience.
That's the perfect example of DSP. Listen to how quick he just glosses over that. Yet he'll take 20 minutes to sit there and tell you how people hate him, they ruin his life, they're sick in the head, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to his mistakes, he was just an idiot or he said stupid shit on the internet, and now he's a good guy and people love it. And by the way, did you hear him mention the meme of people come by every day and tell me, oh, Phil, I heard all this bad stuff about you, but when I watch your streams, it's nothing like that. Phil, then why do you have the same 10 fucking people that support you day in and day out? Why is it always the same group of subhumans in your chat every day? Where are all these new people that always say this? Because to me, that sounds exactly like something you would say and then try to pass it off as, oh, a lot of people came to my streams and told me this. But I know you wouldn't lie, Phil. And later on in this video, I know you're not going to sit there and lie right to these guys' face.
What is what's a day like look for you? Like when you wake up, what is your average day like? Walk me through a day of Phil. Okay. Like when you from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep.
Usually I don't wake up. Usually my cat wakes me up. And you know, I get out of bed and get you ready for the day, you know, just like a normal person. You know, shower or eat breakfast, have a coffee, do chores around the house quick. You know, depends on the day because some days my wife's at work, some days she's not. You know, jump into the office here. So I you know, time-wise, you know, I probably get up between 8, 9 a.m. every day. I get into the office usually between 10:30 a.m. I'm setting up for my stream for the day. I'm reading news off of Twitter to try to have news stories for everyone to talk about on my podcast, which I do every day. My stream usually goes on by 10:45 a.m. my time. You know, we do a little bit of pre-stream, you know, get some people on the stream for about 15, 20 minutes, play some music or whatever. And then I do what I call the Level 1 podcast. This is about an hour to an hour and a half long show where it's just discussion. And it could be a wide variety of topics, whether it's my gaming schedule for the next week, whether it's special events coming up, getting feedback from my viewers on how you like the things I'm currently doing, news stories, all kinds of stuff. This is something I just started about a year to a year and a half ago that I didn't used to do. And I realized this is meaningful that I should be doing in my content. So I do the podcast. Usually the podcast ends around 12:30-ish Pacific time. You know, maybe take another few minutes break. Then we start with gameplay. So we'll do about a 3 to 4 hour gameplay stream. Games, are, as we talked, are wide variety. And I have a set schedule I do every day. I'll post it up everywhere on my socials so people know what I'm doing. That gameplay will usually run about 3-4 hours. Then when that's done, I have to upload all that content. So, you know, another half an hour roughly setting up uploads or whatever. And then usually I spend some, if my wife's home from work, I'll spend about an hour with my wife having dinner, you know, running errands around the house. Again, depends on the day, anything I could squeeze between streams. I'm right back on stream again around 6:30. I'm in the office again. And I'm streaming again for another 2 to 3 hour, you know, gameplay stream. The late night streams are more chill streams. What I say is the daytime streams are more, let's say there's a major new game coming out. You know, in a few weeks, we got Resident Evil, actually next week, Resident Evil 4 Remake. That'll be my daytime streams. That's the one everyone wants to see. More people can watch usually on an earlier time zone or time frame. So I play that on the first stream. My late night streams are chill. You just want to relax with me. You don't care about rage. You don't care about a new game. You just want to relax with Phil. Come to my late night stream. That's like 6:45 p.m. every day. And that runs about 2-3 hours. And it's just chill gameplay. It's not about the gameplay. It's about me talking with my audience. And if there's gameplay, great. We'll advance with the game. But it's more just relaxing. And then when that's done, you know, that stream probably runs till around 9:30 p.m. Then I got to upload. And then, of course, I'm closing down for the day, setting up streams for the next. I'm probably out of my office between 10 to 11 p.m. So all in all, you know, we were talking work day wise. My work day starts roughly around 9:30, 10 a.m. and ends around 10 to 11 p.m. Then after that, I maybe have an hour to spend with my wife and relax at night. You know, watch a movie, watch a TV show or whatever. And, you know, and then chores around the house. It's time for bed and on to the next day. And that's 6 days a week.
That's so embarrassing. You know what that reminded me of when I heard it? Like when I was a kid, a little dumb kid, and my parents or a family member from out of town or something would ask me, how are things going? What did I do today? What am I learning at school? Shit like that. And there I was trying to make up any kind of shit I could to make it sound like I was doing a lot of work and how I'm always busy running around and that I'm not just sitting around the house doing jack shit playing video games. That's exactly what that response sounded like. And it just goes back to a kid being in front of adults trying to fit in. But to flip that around and put it into the perspective of Phil's the adult and all his viewers are the children, how many times does he have to beat it into their heads that he's in the office all day? He said the word office 4 times during that little rant. This lazy fuck that won't change out of his slippers and pajamas for anything is putting in 12-hour work days and busy in the office all day. You ought to move out to New York, Phil, because I can see you on Wall Street in your pajamas putting in 16 hours a day. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
I'm just thinking once again, like you it seems like you're in this never ending, I don't know, for lack of a better metaphor, like a hamster wheel where you get up and you start running and then you finish up at the end of the day and you finish up running and then you get off, you go to sleep and you wake up and you do that 6 days a week. And I understand we all have our hamster wheels and our rotations and our schedules and the way we do things, but it just appears that just from the outside looking in that if you weren't making the money that you were making, you probably wouldn't live that lifestyle.
Okay, fair enough. I've talked about this many times over the last several years with my viewers. They say, what would you change if you could improve anything about your life? What would you do? And the answer would be somehow to take financial pressure off of me so I could spend more time with my wife. We've been married since 2019. We never went on a honeymoon. We haven't been on a trip since we got married. We can't afford it, you know, and I'm sure stuff will come up. Yeah, I went through a bankruptcy because of really bad choices in my past and a combination of online trolling ruining a lot of my financial income with my business. And a combination in tandem of that ruined a lot of stuff for me. Since the bankruptcy went through, I have not been able to fully recover because of it's always something else, and I'm tired of it. I really am. I'm looking, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? So I can have an extra day off with my wife once a week, which I think I deserve and she deserves.
Then why didn't you take the 50K from Keemstar? Quote, my viewers ask me all the time, what would you change if you could improve anything about your life? What would you do? And the answer would be, somehow take financial pressure off of me so I could spend more time with my wife, unquote. He then goes on to say that they've been married for 3 years, they've never had a honeymoon, and that they both deserve more than 1 day off a week. And you could have given her all that, but because Keemstar tried to call you while you were playing video games, by the way, instead of emailing you, apparently she can't have any of that. And look, 50K to some people isn't super life-changing money in the grand scheme of things. And trust me, you'll see why I say that later on. But damn it, that would help anybody, especially someone that just came off of a bankruptcy and claims to be broke all the time. And think about this, his fans are so, I don't even know what the word is at this point, but they believe him when he says he doesn't need Keem's dirty money and that somehow Keemstar and his content are below him. But he also wants you to believe that he has this loving wife that he would do anything for and their soulmates, etc., etc.
But every time, and again, I want to make something very clear here. I am not trying to put myself out as a victim, all right? The reason that a lot of the things that happened to me over the years is because of me. I know that. I'm a flawed human. I'm sorry for some of the horrible things I've said and done over the years. I've publicly apologized. That's why a lot of people hate me. But every time that it looks like things are getting better, these people will do something horrible to me or my family that ruins financially things for me. This has happened several times over the last few years. There was 2 years ago, all right? There was a light at the end of the tunnel. I was still on Twitch. This wasn't when I was full-time YouTube streamer. I was a Twitch streamer. I've been streaming on Twitch for 4.5 years. I built up my viewership and my subs on Twitch were at like 900 subs a month. Things were going good. I said publicly to my audience, guys, this is great. You know, the bankruptcy went through last year. That's not great, but that took a lot of financial burden off of me. If things keep going how they're going, I see a light. I'll be able to improve my business. I'll be able to maybe take time off, spend time with my wife, reduce the amount I stream. This will be outstanding. What happened? My trolls took the King of Hate mantra, which we just discussed earlier, and they got me kicked out of the Twitch Partner Program because of it. Now, I've been with the Twitch Partner Program for 4.5 years. Twitch had no issue with me. Twitch, knowing who I was in my past and the kind of content that I put out and everything, willingly took me under their partner program. They signed me up for promotional opportunities. They had me promoting different things on their streams and stuff. And then they actually campaigned to get me kicked off of Twitch, and they did. So I'm not kicked off of Twitch, but I can't make money on Twitch anymore.
What did they do? What do you feel that they did to you to get you removed off Twitch specifically?
They organized a campaign. They did it, and the thing is, these people are so everything they do, they try to do publicly, so that way they can get a laugh out of it or at least get credit for it. So there was an organized movement against me where what they were going to do was say that 2021 Phil, because that's the year this happened, is the same as 2009, 2010 Phil. They took out of context clips. They took those bad jokes from back then, which I've already publicly apologized for, and I don't do that kind of stuff regularly anymore. Okay, I've grown from that.
Well, I just saw a bad clip from a year ago, so that's pretty recent.
Correct. That's correct. And again, I'm totally fallible. I make mistakes from time to time. Okay, but for the most part, that's not me anymore. You can. Watch
I know, but what you just said was just disproven because you had just made it that same kind of racy joke. I'm not trying to like make it a big deal, but I'm just pointing out that what they were saying is 2021 Phil is the same as before. When you just told me in 2022 you made a joke, so this was after they'd said this, and you're making the same kind of like inappropriate jokes that you were back then.
Fucking got him. And massive shout out to this dude Adam for calling his bullshit on the spot like that. That was tremendous. He makes it such a part of his persona and his fucking victim mentality that detractors are always using old clips and slandering him with shit that's not true anymore. And there he is in the same segment getting called out for some slave trade joke he made less than a year ago. And Adam, you're lucky I don't ban you right now on the spot for using 2011 clips against my Führer. But earlier in the clip, he talks about how trolls got him kicked out of the partner program from Twitch in April of 2021. He says that before that happened, there was a light at the end of the tunnel and he was getting ahead And after that happened, he was essentially ruined again financially. Now, we're going to listen to a clip from a video I made last year where I covered the entire month of May 2021 for him. And at the end of that video, I tallied up well, fuck it. I'll just let you hear the clip. So, the total made in May, I tallied everything up between all the deposits, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, everything. This guy pulled in $13,380 in the month of May. And that's after all the fees. That ain't PayPal fees and everything. That's after that, because it's all straight deposited to his account. $13,380 in the month of May. And he couldn't pay his bills. He was struggling, his mortgage, back taxes. Everything's real tight. He's not going to get it. A third less on his Twitch check, etc. And this dude pulled in over $13,000 that month. And obviously I used the bank leaks and pieces spreadsheet to get that number, but what do you even say? And there he is, feigning distress, crying wolf, chicken little. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, in the shadows, $13,380 the month after he gets departnered from Twitch. And that's why he won't take Keem's offer. That's why he's above Keem and his, quote, dirty-ass blood money. And just for the record, I hope Keemstar does follow up with that documentary on Netflix. Because this wouldn't be the vortex in your little 250-person stream on YouTube, Phil. Your parents would see it, the rest of your family and their friends would see it, and it would be just like a good old Burnell family reunion, and they can all see what their little baby boy is up to. Let's fucking go.
So here I am. I've never received any kind of a warning. I never gotten a community strike. Everything I'm doing according to Twitch terms of service is fine. I'm not banned from Twitch. I could stream there right now. But according to their partnership criteria, all my past actions are unforgivable, and therefore you can't make money on our site anymore.
Did you go to them and bring them, did you explain to them this comment was made? Have you had any sort of discourse with Twitch to kind of explain these things? Because if you're saying that these comments were made a decade ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, and culture was different or whatever it is you want to say, have you had that opportunity to speak with Twitch about these things? And if you did, do you feel, well, no, we'll start there.
Okay. And by the way, it's not just Twitch. This happened to several other businesses too. I don't want to talk about all of them publicly only because it's just going to open the hornet's nest. But basically, these businesses, the way that they approach it now is, well, we have terms of service. If you break them, too bad. We have absolutely no legal obligation to tell you what you did wrong because we just don't have to. I don't believe that's true. I think if you do something wrong, they should tell you what exactly, specifically, what you did and how to remedy it. Because if you're telling me I did something to break our legal agreement, obviously I want to fix that. I don't want to keep doing the wrong thing, but they don't care. I tried reaching out to the legal team of Twitch, and essentially that we have no obligation to have further contact with you. If you'd like to reapply for the Twitch Partner Program, come back in 365 days and reapply, and at that time we'll reevaluate the situation. So now I'm out of income for a year.
And there it is, a perfect example of what he does. I just showed you how much he made in the month immediately after he got departnered, but let him tell it because they removed him from the partner program. Quote, now I'm out of income for a year. This is why he doesn't do interviews or talk to anyone outside of his streams. And the rare times that he does do it, look what happens. And to be honest, he's extremely lucky that these guys barely knew anything about him. But going back to the beginning of it, yeah, Phil, it's almost like Twitch is a business and they can do whatever they want on their own site. Does it suck? Yeah, but it's their site. They don't owe you anything. You either use it and comply or you don't. And like you even said, they got rid of Wings, LTG, Dr. Disrespect, and a bunch of others. So no, it wasn't just trolls mass reporting you and all your old clips to get you kicked off. They clearly had some kind of change they were trying to make, but instead of just saying that and moving on, he has to come up with some elaborate scheme where detractors fucked him over and it wasn't his fault. My ass.
Yeah. Why do you want to even be a streamer anymore? Like, what is your reasoning? I like streaming. I understand. I love being on stage. I'm a musician as well. There's something about having an audience that I really love, and I love having an audience. They're the reason that I'm successful. And it's like, if you're struggling, if you're facing this, like, wouldn't it be better for your well-being and like your relationship with your wife and your family to just stop doing this for a little while, get a normal job and just you know, kind of take a breather?
A lot of people have said that to me. My mother said that to me when I got married. She's like, you know, look how things are going, you know, on the internet. Everyone's crapping on you. And, you know, don't you think that maybe long term things should change? And at that point, and that was around 2019, before the bankruptcy and all of that, I kind of agreed with her. I was like, yeah, look at this. You know, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to improve and be better. And it's like people don't care. People just want to crap on me no matter what I do. And my mom said something really important to me. She said, you're not beholden to anyone but yourself and God. Like, as long as you're okay with who you are in the morning and that you feel that you're okay with God. And my mom's religious. I'm not. Okay. But when she said that to me, it was like, she's right. You know, why do I have to answer to an angry mob of people every day? Why can't I just live my life like everyone else on this planet? Right. But, and of course, there's always a but. A lot of things changed between 2019 and now. I love what I do now. At one point, I will openly say this, I hated what I did for a living. Around 2016, a lot of things were going really bad for me. YouTube had really started to just totally hate me. I was getting, you know, all kinds of horrible things were happening to me behind the scenes. My personal life was falling apart as well. This is before I met my wife, by the way. And I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was trapped. I was like, I have so much debt in my name. There's no way if I quit YouTube, if I'm going to make, you know, if I'm going to get a 9-to-5 job somewhere, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose everything because I can't afford it. If I get a 9-to-5 job, I would never make as much money, you know, as I do on YouTube or Twitch or whatever.
So that's really what it comes down to is streaming is more profitable than getting a 9-to-5.
That's 50% of it, I would say. About 50% weight.
No, it's 100% why, Phil. I'm not going to go back and play the clip because this video is going to be long enough already, but do you remember in like 2018 or so when he said he couldn't work a night job because of his age? He was like 35 at the time. Now, you know what? Fuck this. We're going to watch the clip.
You know, and the other thing is some people have said ridiculous things. Get another job. Do you not see that my whole day is here on stream? Like, I'm here around 9 in the morning. I start work. I get my stream up by 10. I'm here till 4. I have like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops away. I'm back until like 9, 10 at night in here. I have like no extra time to do anything. I can't work another job. No one's going to have me working night hours, and I couldn't do it anyway. At my age and everything, I couldn't do it.
The same fucking shit he said on that interview. The exact same thing. That was from November of 2018. I had forgot he even said that there. Put that side by side. Somebody clip that and put it side by side and send it to Craig and Adam and see what they say. It's fucking ridiculous. But he's been making the same excuse for years, but now it's only 50% of the reason why he won't go out and get a job. I also find it funny how he brought up the conversation he had with his mom, but he didn't mention the 10-year plan. I wonder why you didn't bring that up, Phil. It's pretty convenient that you left that out. It's also strange that you didn't bring up the reason you were even out there talking to your mom in the first place. Well, lucky for you, Phil, we remember. You should have told Adam and Craig how you claimed your parents were sick and it was getting, quote, really, really bad. Do you remember saying that, Phil? And how you had multiple fucking fundraisers the month before you flew out to see them? Because you needed tens of thousands of dollars for your back taxes. And then after you fly across the country to see your sick parents, surprise, we got married. Give me money. Does none of this ring a bell, Phil? No? I guess this is all just speculation and hearsay.
But anyway, no. Yes, I try my best to reinvest. You know, there was
How?
Well, like I just said, doing something above and beyond. I'm gonna.
Well, that doesn't cost any money though. You know, doing another stream, reacting. That's just making you more money.
But correct. But then you know the ordering of a giant meal that normally I wouldn't order. You know, I'm talking ordering 2 entrees and stuff, getting DoorDash. You're talking $50-$60 out of my pocket that I normally would not spend. You know, It's not budgeted, but because, you know, we did the special event. And I know, I hear what you're saying. What you're saying is, if you have these goals every day, where's the money going? Would you really like to know? Do you really want?
It's not, honestly, it's not that we are asking. It's that I feel like the people out there that have been supporting you that now have turned against you because they feel you lied to them or you saw them as dollar signs, and that's all that they were to you. It's like, I feel like they want to know.
A streamer who streams, you know, by your own schedule, you're active 12 hours a day doing this, right? And there's,
and by your own admission, you said like you didn't fixed the set at all. It's been just a shoddy set for most of your over a decade of doing this.
Right. So there's this whole, like, what do your business expenses look like? I mean, I've done this for a long time. The business expenses are your initial cost of setting up your camera, your lights, and that's about it. And then after that, it's your cost
Internet
is
bill.
your time. Yeah, is your time, right? And so walk me through, what does that look like? What is it specifically? You know, there's this $5,000 business expense every month. So what is this?
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about things that came out publicly during a bankruptcy proceeding, correct? And I believe that the $5,000 a month number came off of, I believe it's from a tax return. Is that correct? That it was filed, or you know, the data? I'm trying to remember exactly where it came from. You guys probably know more than me because you've probably been inundated with this for 2 weeks. While I'm so far removed from this.
I want to hear it from you.
I think, again, I'm just speculating. I think what happened was when I filed for bankruptcy, a lot of information goes public. And so they look at a public filing. I guess there's certain information that's made public. I don't think it's all your tax returns. I think it's like 1 year's worth or something. And I guess there was a number that was thrown out there that it looks like Phil spends $5,000 a month on business expenses. Now, number one, I don't do my own taxes. I have a tax guy to do. I pay him to do it. Okay. Here's what I can tell you. All right. I can tell you right now, because I'm working on it right now for this year, what are considered expenses that a tax attorney wants to know you're spending every month? Geez. Your mortgage, because if you work from home, I guess that's part of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tax guy, but your cost of your mortgage, all of your utility bills that apply to you operating the business. Correct?
Hold on, Phil, you've been doing this for 17 years and you don't know what your business expenses are? You don't know what you get tax write-offs on and stuff? I mean, like...
Specifically, no, I don't. I give it all... I pay him a lot of money to a tax guy. I have a giant, spreadsheet of data that I provide. They work it out, because every year it's different. I get to feel the tax laws change and stuff, and they figure it out. I give them all the data. In fact, just got an email from a tax guy the other day. He's like, we still need this data for you for this year's tax filings. We need how much do you pay for utilities? What's your cost of internet this year? What's this? They need all that information. And I got to get them to it. And then they do.
He just comes off looking like an idiot here. He doesn't know anything. He just relies on other people to figure it out for him. Kind of sounds like your streams, Phil. Let everybody else do all the work for you, and you make all the money. He also said his mortgage is part of his tax write-offs and business expenses. Now, he said this in the past, but he's always implied it's just the office or even Panda's office back in the day. And by the way, remember when he was calling Ket's room her office? Why don't you call it that anymore, Phil? I really do hope he's been writing his entire mortgage payment off on his taxes, his utilities too. In fact, go ahead, Phil. Fuck the rest of us. Don't listen to us. Just write everything off, buddy. And then the absolute absurdity of this guy, to sit there and pretend like 50 or 60 bucks on a DoorDash meal is crazy and it's not in his budget. Is that a lot, Phil? 50 or 60 bucks for DoorDash? Do you consider that a lot? Because your bank leaks say that's pretty much a twice a week thing for you. But all of a sudden, when it's for feasting with the king, an event that you've already been paid to do and where you're making more money, all of a sudden, it's a lot of money. Ooh. This is what a fucking liar and scammer does, man. It can't be said enough. Next clip.
Something. All right, here's what I can say. Because I'm not going to sit here and go back to a 2010 tax return and say, here's what my accountant said or whatever.
Right.
This is from 2010. That's $5,000 a month.
Oh, excuse me. Did I say 2010? I meant 2020. That's totally my fault. I meant 2020. My bankruptcy was 2020. So I think the tax return that must be referenced is like 2019, something like that. Okay. Here's what I know. Because of the amount of trolling that happened to me, this judge that was involved in the bankruptcy hearing was attacked online with so much shit. I had to go into meeting after meeting with both my bankruptcy attorney and this judge. Hours of work. We went through line item by line item of all of my expenses. I had to explain to a judge who has no idea what live streaming is, the entire concept of being a live streamer, and showing every single expense and line item and rationalizing what it was to my business. This is this, right? And it took so much work. At the end of the day, after all that extra work and time and money that had to be put into my bankruptcy, it went through. The judge understood. I showed them everything. If anyone should see line item by line item what my business expenses are, should probably be the judge who's going to make a ruling on if I should be granted bankruptcy or not, right? That's the government, a government representative, correct? They saw it all. They went through all of it. And at the end of the day, they said, this all makes sense.
So he broke down his business expenses line by line for the judge. He had multiple meetings and broke it down line by line for her. But he somehow can't conveniently answer the simple question they asked him here. Let that sink in. He can break it all down for a judge, a person that he said has no idea what live streaming even is and all the expenses that come with it, so he had to explain it to her. And he explained it so well that she understood it afterwards and approved everything. But here, he's stumbling all over himself and can't answer a question without going back to the trolls and 2015. At what point do the excuses become too much? How many times are they going to ask a question and you're going to give a 5-minute response and compare it to 10 or 15 years ago? How many times can you be a victim until people finally say, okay, this guy's crying wolf, he's feigning distress?
And it sucks. Like Adam said, YouTube, Twitch, any kind of online content creation is a constantly fluctuating thing. Tomorrow, everything could be turned off for all of us. We can't even stream, right? It could be a new law that says we can't do it anymore, in which case then I guess I am boned and I got to go out there and get an offline job, right? But how can I lay out a business plan when every month is different, when it looks like there's consistency to my life? Oh, here's what I'm making every month. That's exactly what was happening in 2021. There was a series of months, like the first 3 months and 4 months of the year. Things were going great. I had a business plan. Here's what I want to do. Let's do this for a certain amount of years. Let's expand. Let's improve the setup. Let's try new things. Let's do this. And then if it keeps going, you get to the next stage of the business plan, right? And what happens? I lose my partnership, identity theft, income's destroyed. Now what do? Business plan's gone. So how can I set a plan when these people won't allow me to even have any level of stability in my life for even a few months?
You know what you do?
Stuff that they're doing.
You make another business plan. You move forward. That's what you do.
Like I mean, I don't.
What choice do you have?
Right.
The only choice is to make a new one and continue moving forward.
I
Right?
agree.
Like,
I will not be beaten by these people. You know,
it's what you just said sounded like you were.
Oh
like
no,
you have been
absolutely
over
not.
and over again.
One of the
I'm
major
letting you
things-
know. I'm letting you know what you what you had just finished with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a business. He asked what your business plan is. He was like, I had a business plan, but they kept shitting all over it. Like that was your response instead of this is my business plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't have a future vision. I think that's what Craig was going for.
Okay. I spoke. I do have a future vision. The problem is, if I fully explain it, they're going to try to ruin it. You understand?
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I should have said that. I'm sorry about that. Like, do I have an idea of what I'd like to do? Yes. I know exactly. Actually, I have steps in place to know exactly what I can do to try to fix my situation. I don't want to listen.
Sounds good.
I don't want to be here on stream every day saying to people, toss me a few bucks. Oh my God, that's the worst feeling every time I effing do it. I don't want to say, hey, tip me, do this, do that. That's obnoxious. I just want to play games and chill with my.
Then why you been doing it for the past 9 years? Look at how embarrassed and ashamed he is right there. But contrast that with how much he claims he loves what he does every day and how he's energized to come to work every morning. That's the 10-year plan. And remember my favorite quote, my favorite clip of all time when it comes to DSP. I may be living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, begging for fucking tips and shit on stream for the rest of my life. Well, Phil, you predicted that one, buddy. And that was a private Patreon Q&A that wasn't supposed to leak out. I love it. And he's just crying about how trolls ruined him again and going on and on. Then prayer hands for Adam, just telling him essentially to quit bitching and to make a new plan and to quit being a victim. And as soon as Phil hears that, he magically has some plan that he can't go into details and he can't tell you about. But just 30 seconds earlier, when they asked him if he had any kind of a business plan, he outright said no.
You had an opportunity with Keemstar and Drama Alert to go on there for it was $50,000 was being offered to you to go on this podcast, right? $50K. Why not do that? Like that's a giant amount of money. And yes, there's taxes attached to that. It's after it's all said and done, it's probably $30K, right? But why not just say, okay, I'll take your money and I'll spend a couple hours on your podcast, and that would clear up so much of your financial burden.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Keemstar story. Here we go.
Well, no, just answer that question. I don't want to hear the story. I just want to know, like, why would you not take $50K?
Because that's not what happened. You've been told a story that's not true. I have to tell you what actually happened.
Please.
So there's a history with Keemstar where, over the years, this guy has a horrible reputation on YouTube. Everyone knows it. I'm not going to crap on the guy here, but just go look on YouTube. You'll find out all about him and the things he said and did to people and things over the internet. I've had a little bit of history with him, little bit, but not a lot, you know. And basically, he had been pretty nasty to me a few times, tweets and things like that. What it is people will ask me something on a stream. What do you think of Keemstar? And I'll be like, you know, it's not just Keemstar. It's a lot of guys. I don't like these drama YouTubers. I call them misery brokers.
What the fuck does that have to do with why you didn't accept $50,000 from this guy? Because, Phil, it sounds to me that you're judging Keem based on what he used to do 5 to 10 years ago. You know, the same thing you claim everyone does to you, piece of shit. And I love that Craig asked him about Keemstar and the 50K, and he asked him why he didn't take it. And the first words out of Phil's mouth are, okay, the Keemstar story. And then Craig just tells him, no, I don't want to hear the story. Just answer the question. What a fucking slap in the face that was. No, Phil, I don't want to hear your 20-minute backstory about how trolls ruined your life again. Just answer the fucking question, man. And what does he proceed to do anyway? He starts with pig-splaining Keem's reputation and how he's been doing this for years, and gives us his entire backstory. Also, he can make himself out to be the victim again. Now this shocks me.
Well, so how do you square the idea of not taking Keemstar's money, but taking it from your audience, who you may not know? Maybe they're slinging crack. Maybe your audience, you don't know where that money's coming from, right? They may be getting it morally in a way that you may not agree with morally. How do you square yourself with that? You know, maybe that I think everybody, you know, if you have a sizable audience online, you deal with people who are favorable people, and you also have some unfavorable people in your audience, right? And they may get money from other ways. So how do you square that in your brain with Keemstar versus unknown money?
I don't equate the two. Like, Keemstar money is, I'm taking money for a direct project that apparently is going to be a long-term business relationship with this guy. I'm associating myself with a guy who I don't respect, don't like the content he puts on the internet, versus people who watch me, like who I am, like what I stand for, want to support that effort to keep it going. You know, my crowdfunders are the people who allow me to do this for a living 15 years later. I'm a small-time guy, but I can still make a living doing it while others of my size can't, because of the amount of support that I get, and I appreciate that so much. They know that. I tell them every day, thank you so much for allowing me to keep doing what I feel is meaningful for you guys, and what you tell me is meaningful every day. But here's the thing, and this is an interesting point. As someone who's crowdfunded, mostly, you know, it's mostly income coming in from streams, ad revenue from people watching ads, all of that. This is a question for you guys too, I guess. This is interesting.
Sure.
Can you be held accountable for your viewership? Correct? Like, for example, right now, the G2s. Mm-hmm. I would hope that they're all upstanding individuals, right? You always want that, but you don't know what they're all doing, right? Sure. Do you micromanage your G2s and say, well, you know, there's someone who's nice on my stream and they come by every day, and I just found out, I went to their Twitter to find out that they're a horrible person. They say racist things on their Twitter all the time. If someone came to you and said that, would you say, oh, I got to ban them from my community now because they say things on their own personal...
That's a good question, Phil. But I have a feeling if Stuttering Craig found out that one of his viewers publicly admitted to doxing his detractors, Craig's fans, and some of his own moderators, trashed Craig in private emails that leaked out multiple times, and was running around on Kiwi farms in secret with a picture of Craig's wife as his profile picture, he would probably get rid of that fucking piece of trash. But what did you do, Phil? Because this guy is giving you over $25,000 over the course of 2 years, you still have him on your streams. Pretend like nothing ever happened, and still allow him to tip you under fake names till this day. But somehow Keem's $50,000 is blood money. Somehow that's dirty fucking money. It's almost like you're lying out of your ass, Phil, and will say anything as long as it's convenient for you. And by the way, none of that's fucking speculation and hearsay. That's all 100% fact. But going back to the beginning of it, Craig asked him why he accepts his viewers' money instead of Keem's money, and that he doesn't know where the money is potentially coming from. And yes, he does, Craig. Tembo, OIC, Planet Jeff, Vidar, Slayer, The Patriarchy, NDO, Rob on Wheels, Jade, Jay Bowler. He knows exactly where this money's coming from, and he doesn't care. They can bankrupt themselves for all he gives a fuck, and some of them already have. What's up, Timbo? Let's go.
Let's go into WWE champions.
Sure.
Let's talk about this, because this has been a consistent theme with all the detractors. They want to know about your experience with this game. Just a real simple yes or no. Do you currently still play WWE Champions? Yes. Okay. Yes, you do. Why are you so why are you so hesitant to talk about that, or to talk about WWE Champions? And we'll start there.
Oh, why am I hesitant to talk about WWE Champions? Well, the thing is, I wasn't at first. I did talk about it publicly years ago when the game first came out, very innocently. Talked about playing it casually, that I was a fan of wrestling. This is a game that I played. Over the years, every once in a while, I would casually mention a mobile game I'm playing or whatever. But, it's nothing that I would think that my audience would be super interested in, to hear about me. What mobile games I casually will talk about them. That would be like something I would mention on my podcast. Let's talk about I'm playing a new mobile game today or whatever, right? But what's ended up happening is, over the years, every little thing that I mention that's not directly related to my content or my business, what I'm doing on stream, somehow gets twisted into something distorted or messed up by my detractors to make me look bad. And this is a prime example of them, in my opinion, and you can disagree, trying to orchestrate something. Well, just one of the many things, because we can go through a lot of the things they've done that have been completely disproven. But this is one of the things that I never went out of my way to disprove, because it's stupid. It's ludicrous. Can
I ask you, Phil, have
Sure.
you ever spent money on this game?
Of course I have, yes.
Have you spent a lot of money on this game?
Good question is, what does a lot mean?
Anything over $100 is too much on a mobile game. So
probably when the game first came out, yes, I spent over $100 on it. That was 2017 when it first came out. Trust me, I'm versed on this game now for all the wrong reasons. So yes, in the first year.
Wait, did you just flex on how good you are at the game?
No. I said I'm versed in the game because I have to know about it, because they're freaking put me in conspiracies about it and shit. It's ridiculous. Okay, I don't want to know about it.
Then
how much money have you spent in this game? Do you mind saying?
Total, I couldn't tell you. It's definitely total under $1,000 over the years that it's been in operation, for sure.
Okay, not over $1,000.
No,
because that's not what people think.
That's correct.
I know that you're some sort of a whale in that game.
Oh, I know. I've seen every. I haven't seen every video. I've heard it all. First, it was like thousands, then it was 10,000, then it was 20, then it was 40. Now it's 100. I think 100,000 supposedly I've spent on this.
Then why did you call people mentally ill and fucking losers for accusing you of playing the game, Phil? If you still knowingly play it, why did you lie? It's almost like you have a history of lying and then trying to cover up the lie by lying again. But going back to the beginning of it, Craig asks him point blank, do you still play WWE Champions? And Phil gives him a one-word answer, a yes. No 20-minute backstory, no trolls ruin my life, none of that shit. Just a one-word answer. It's very easy to tell when Phil's telling the truth. And just for funsies, we're going to listen to an older clip of Phil calling you a fucking loser if you believe that it's him playing the mobile game.
You're wasting your fucking time. I wonder if they're harassing this fucking guy. Again, I don't know if this guy was a troll of mine, or who was trying to impersonate me, or maybe he was a fan of mine. Maybe he's just someone with dumb, bad fucking luck to have the same name as my Twitter handle. But if they're still bothering this guy like 5 months later, holy fucking shit, dude. Get a fucking light. Look in the mirror, realize you're a fucking loser. Oh my God. I seriously can't believe it. That this is still going on. This is still fucking going on.
Like when, you say you beg too much, and you're working on that, which is good, because as I said, it's not a good look. But even talking about, hey, this other game that they believe you're a whale in, why do they think you're a whale? Where are they getting this?
See, here's the thing. I don't exactly know. There's been so much to this thing over the years that, I'm just going to briefly in my head try to go over what I remember. Apparently, at first, it was that there was an account in the game. That's the name of the account was They Call Me DSP. Okay?
Which is also your Twitter handle.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. And so just by that association, they're assuming that's me in the game. Okay. Now, from what I'm going to understand after that, after I guess at some point it had been asked on a stream or whatever, is this you? And I said, no, that's not me in the game. It is not, by the way. That is not my account in the game.
What is your account in the game?
That I'm not going to say. And if you're going to say why, because back when I signed up for that game in 2017, there had never been any drama around mobile games or anything like that I had been involved in. No one ever asked me the question of what's the name of your account. I have an account name on basically my Apple device that kind of crosses over a lot of different accounts, okay? And if I were to tell you information about my account, these people will absolutely use that to hurt me. They will try to use this data to get into other accounts. They will probably try to commit identity theft, impersonate me with Apple. I can't do that. I've already been through that 2 years ago.
So on the record, you're saying that that account, they call me DSP, is not you.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well,
now,
okay, but here's the thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around, right? Because apparently that name was changed later to Down from the Rafters, right? Why would somebody, if this is a troll that is a whale, right, that in this game, why would somebody let's say after this was brought to your attention, the name is later changed, right? And they're spending all this money on this, right? And they know it's being, it's being tracked in this game. Why would they change the name if they're just trolling you with they call me DSP, this name? Why would they then change the name if it's just a troll to begin with? What's the point? I'm trying to wrap my head around this idea here.
Sure. Apparently there's a couple theories. Theory number one is, like you just said, this person was actually a troll who was trying to make me look bad. And that was the theory until the name changed. But I agree with you. That doesn't seem to make sense, does it? Why would you try to change your name if you weren't, maybe. And again, this is me just guessing. I have no clue because this is not me. Maybe this person was a legit player. Maybe it was a fan of mine. Maybe it was, who knows? Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's complete chance. This is not Darkside Phil. This is not DSP Gaming. This is they call me
Darkside
DSP.
Patrick.
Again, who knows? You're right. That's the point. Is it wasn't my name. It wasn't like Phil Burnell or whatever. It was one name that I use on a Twitter account. So maybe this legitimately was someone who was playing the game and over the years was getting harassed.
This is absolutely disgusting. That this dude can sit there and look straight at the camera, straight at these people asking him questions, and Craig, apparently somebody that he looked up to and liked, and just blatantly lie like this. This right here should tell you that he will lie to anyone about anything. It doesn't matter. But at the beginning of it, Adam asked him why people think he's a whale. DSP says he doesn't know, and then he starts to spin a bunch of theories on why he thinks people might suspect he's a whale. Phil, I can answer this question right now point blank. Tossing all the blatant evidence aside that proves it's you, let me ask y'all this. How many people do you know that are or have been addicted to something, get over that addiction, and then just casually go back to doing whatever it is they're addicted to just as a hobby? I don't know anybody like that, ever. And I would assume the probability of people out there like that is very, very small. But somehow we're supposed to believe Phil, who's already admitted in the past many times being addicted to mobile games and spending a crap ton of money on them, that he's the 1 in 1,000 or 1 in a million that can actually do this. A guy that can't explain his $5K a month in business expenses. A guy that recently went bankrupt despite making $100,000 a year. A guy that lies consistently and then comes out after the fact and tells you that he had to lie. He's the one that can do this.
But, I hate to bring this up. But I'm going to because I feel like it needs to be addressed.
Go for it.
People have been very aggressive with you to the point to where they have leaked bank statements from you, right? And that's obviously not cool at all. It's ridiculous that somebody would go to that length, and it's honestly upsetting. But it's out there, right? And there have been, according to these leaks, there have been dozens, hundreds of transactions to the Apple Store. Many over hundreds of dollars that had been there. Were those your transactions?
No.
So those were not tied to you at all.
No. The bank leaks, Now we have to get into the identity theft thing. Okay.
Well, let's just talk about the bank leads first.
Well, they're tied to that.
Okay.
You know what I mean, like they go hand in hand. Those bank leaks.
Explain it. Yeah.
Sure, the bank leaks are not accurate. Those are not. That is not my account.
So it's the person who took your identity was spending money on in the Apple Store?
No, that's not my account at all. Whatever that is not me. That's fabricated. Or it's someone else's account. I don't know whose, but that's not my account that was leaked. I've had a lot of issues that happened with identity theft that same summer, but they use that to run with some kind of this crazy conspiracy theory and say that was me, and it's not.
So you're saying, just so we're on the same page, you're saying that this account that is not yours, that had thousands of dollars of fees to the Apple Store consistently, that are these amounts just happen to tie to exact amounts in the game that we're talking about, WWE Champions, and it's a game that you also play. Just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
You're saying that is not your account at all, and they were unsuccessful in hacking your bank account.
They did not hack my bank account. They did not have access to my bank account.
It seems awfully convenient.
And
right.
just right.
It does sound awfully convenient. But
So Craig asked him point blank, are the bank leaks that came out yours? And Phil says no. He then immediately tries to tie the story into identity theft and tells them they need to hear the whole story to make it make sense. What did I tell you earlier? It's easy to tell when he's telling the truth. One word answer and nothing else. But when he's lying, he'll try to confuse you and spin the story to where it doesn't make sense. Again, it's like a child. This is what a child does. And Phil, if it wasn't your account, then why did you come out the day after it happened and try to shut it down? You even said you couldn't speak for legal reasons. Hell, if you even go back to TCAP 21, towards the end of the Snow Carl segment, I even revealed to you the day before the bank leaks came out, he's hinting that something very bad just happened behind the scenes, but he can't talk about it. He knows someone got into his account and saw all that shit. He just doesn't know how bad it's gonna. You know what? Fuck it. Let's watch the clip.
So he gets to keep his name because he didn't do anything wrong. But everyone else trying to bandwagon on this dumb fuck troll shit. You're done. You're out of here. It's already shut down. If we see it, it's banned on site. There's no exceptions here. And if you come in here with a name like that, you get banned. Don't even ask for an unban because there's no point. I'm not going to unban you because you're stupid. You couldn't read the pinned tweet. You couldn't read my Twitter. You couldn't read anything. You were too ignorant. And you joined in the fun. Well, the fun's done. You're done. It's over. All right. Seriously, of all the days to try to pull this, today's not the fucking day. Out of all the stress that I just been under, the incredible amount of annoyance and stress I just had the last 24 hours, this is the last day you want to fuck with me. And I apologize to any of the normal viewers here. They're like, damn, Phil seems kind of harsh today. Yeah, I can't even walk. I'm like hobbling around the house, guys. I'm upset about multiple things going on. I don't need to have this fucking stupid kitty horse shit, right? It's the least important thing to me right now is to be putting up with some dumb fuck's meme. And he thinks he's going to control my stream. He's a fucking loser. Fucking limp dick idiot. Go fuck yourself. I'm not going to put up with your stupid kitty shit.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What did I ever do to you, Phil? So obviously that was the day of the great Carl Revolution, but his bank leaks also came out that very same night. And there he is telling you, you don't know what I just went through, all the stress and annoyance. Today's not the day to fuck with me. I wonder why, Phil. And then fast forward to the interview. Oh, that wasn't my account. Those aren't my bank leaks. So once again, everything just magically lines up and it's all just a big coincidence. Isn't it, Shawn Michaels?
Like Craig said, I mean, you are playing it. It is your username. There are all these bank statements that actually correlate perfectly with this game. I'm leaning more towards that side of the story because it makes more sense. I mean, you needed an out. You have money issues and have had money issues for a while. Yep. And it's just like, it's hard to believe, dude.
The reason that this story has not died out like every other one is because this is the one that I really don't have a way to prove my innocence without further exposing myself. You understand?
Do you have a police report for the
police
identity
report?
You don't.
Oh,
you
no.
can redact certain things.
I did not. I don't have a police report. Geez, how do I?
Did you not go to the police when your identity was hacked?
No, I
taken?
went to all my financial institutions. I went to the credit bureaus.
You didn't go to the
notified them.
police though when someone
No,
was
I didn't.
stealing your identity. Why
No.
wouldn't you do that?
I didn't even think to do it. I don't think, what would they do about it?
Try to fucking get the person and arrest them for stealing your identity?
I mean, I guess maybe, but here, okay. I guess what I got to do is tell you a little bit more about all the crap I've been through. I have contacted the police about the harassment. No, listen, I have contacted the police about harassment over the years. When I got swatted, years later, when someone was actually doing tons of fake transactions against my PayPal account that were all fraud. They were actually fraudulent credit card transactions. I contacted our police here, and I had a big conversation, and they said, listen, I swear to God, this is the conversation. We don't do that. We don't have an online task force for this stuff. They said the only thing we deal with is human trafficking. That's it. That's all we can do. Here's the number to the FBI if you want to call them. But unless you're talking about ginormous sums of money being tossed
So
around,
you did contact them or you didn't?
not about identity theft. I contacted them years earlier about other issues.
And you talked to them about identity theft?
I talked to them about a lot of different things that had happened or could happen. And they
But
basically
why
told
would
me-
you have talked to them about identity theft years earlier if none of that was even happening to you?
Well, I don't know if we specifically said, identity theft. Like I said, there was a case where, first of all, I received death threats, like pretty serious death threats. Someone saying they're going to come to my house and murder me with a gun.
Well, that's
And
a completely different subject.
Correct.
Right.
And I contacted them about that. And while I was talking to them, I also brought up PayPal issues that I was having with fraudulent transactions and other things. And they basically said, we don't handle that. We can't. We don't have the capacity. Local PD doesn't care. You have to go, if you want to go to the FBI, but they even said, here's the number. If you ever get into something really bad, you're afraid for your life or something, call us 911. Outside of that, anything else, it's, big transactions or whatever, like you lose $1 million, you call the FBI. That's it. So I didn't think, I didn't file a police report about the identity theft because I didn't think they could do anything. They told me years previous nothing's going to happen about it.
So the police told you to call 911 if anything ever happens. Phil, I could have fucking told you that, man. And he didn't file a police report. This fucking clown said thousands of dollars was missing from his account and that he had to hire an attorney. Do you remember that? When he used his identity theft attorney as a begging tool. I'm pretty sure your financial institutions would make you file some kind of police report. Hell, they'd probably make you do it just to cover their own ass. This is what happens when you keep tossing lie on top of lie, thinking you got it all figured out. Until you get in front of some real people that can actually think for themselves. Not nestled into your little fucking chat, where a lot of the people that watch you have been proven to be mentally deficient, mentally challenged, and unable to even process things. And look, I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm trying to tell the truth here. It's fucking ridiculous. And of course, he starts going back to years ago when he got swatted and the PayPal bullshit and death threats. Again, it's so easy to tell when he's lying. Phil, this was a fucking terrible mistake. Why'd you ever agree to do this? Now, the next clip is the last one for this video. As it says in the title, this is part 1. There will be a part 2 at some point, and I'll cover Keem's section, and then the meltdown Phil had the next day. But the next video out will be To Catch a Pay Pig part 24, and then we'll jump back to this one.
Like, if you would just say, yeah, it was my bank account. It was really fucked up. It aligned with all these things. By the way, I play WWE champions. I have a hard time quitting it. Those games are addictive. And you just kind of said, yeah, these things are accurate. I think people would just be like, okay, and they'd be cool with it. But it just seems like you keep digging and digging and digging. And I mean, walk me through this, because there's just evidence here, like mounds and mounds of evidence. And that say
you claim that it was someone else, but why do a lot of the things on the bank statement actually correlate to things that you actually did and paid for?
Right, and the only evidence that you're putting out is, well, no, it's not, or that's a lie. And just walk me through this, man, because this is the whole purpose of this thing was not to make you look bad at all. But I just want to walk through this here, man, because it doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up.
What specifically, like you said a couple things there. First, you said big events in the game correlate to money being spent on the account.
No, I don't think he meant in the game. I think he meant in life.
Well, in life and in the game, apparently there's like special events that happen in the game, and it's a certain character's released or whatever. I don't know enough about the game, right? I didn't do a deep dive into the game. Just there are special events that happen. Hey, it's like you see this on any game, Call of Duty, Apex. For this time only, you can buy this character or whatever. That's all. I'm just trying to walk through this, man.
But I see. Here's the thing. I don't know specifically what you're referencing. I guess what you're saying is there's transactions on that account that correlate. That's something that's been proven that I spent money on. How would that even be proven? What does that mean?
I mean, maybe you went to a restaurant and you said, "Hey, I'm going to go to dinner tonight," and then there's a transaction at a local restaurant for an amount that may add up to a couple people dining at a restaurant. You know what I mean? That's all. Like I said, I'm just trying to walk through this.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds. I mean, first of all, from your perspective, if I were sitting where you were right now and hearing this story, I'd be like, he's probably lying. I don't know how to defend. Again, I don't know how to defend myself without putting myself and my family at personal risk, and that's the problem. I don't know how that lines up. I wish I knew. I wish I knew I could explain those transactions. I guess, man, I'm trying to figure out how I can tell you from my perspective what really happened that summer. And why? Because
I'll tell you. Here's something very easy, very simple, very simple. You have my email, and this is a small ask. It's also a big ask. You can say whatever you want. Will you? And you can say no, and I'm totally fine with this. But just confidentially between us, will you send me a screenshot of your account, of your WWE account, and just so I personally, I will not share your name to anybody, but just between us.
Man, I have to think about
and vouch for you.
I would put out.
Yeah, and I will vouch for you either way.
I have to think about what kind of risk that. I don't want to say. Here's the thing, I'll consider it, but I can't agree to it yet. I have to see what's the risk.
You can't even help this guy. They try to fucking help him. They toss him a lifeline, and what does he do? Oh, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I gotta think about it. What is there to think about? You send him a screenshot, or you get on a Zoom call with him, show him your account name, and he immediately comes out and says it's not your account. But you can't even do that. And why can't you do it, Phil? Because it's your fucking account, and anyone with a functioning brain knows it. And I'm gonna go on record here. I believe that he's very close to admitting it's his account. And the reason I say that is because Phil keeps lying and lying and lying, which means people are going to keep digging and digging and digging. And let me be clear, I'm not asking for this to happen. I'm not wishing for it to happen. I'm telling you that eventually this is going to happen because at some point it's just going to be the next fucking step. Somebody's going to catch you out in public, Phil, and they're going to want to see that account for themselves. And by that time, it's going to be too late, man. This is what you don't seem to understand. Doubling down on these lies, insulting people while you do it, taking people's money under false pretense, it's only going to make people go further. And after all the shit you've been through, all the bad experiences you've had, you should know better, but you clearly don't. And like I said, once it gets to that point, it's going to be too late, man. I'll see y'all for TCAP 24 very soon. Let's fucking go.